Okay, so part 3, if we're going to have projectiles, we're probably going to need collisions as well. So I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to draw like a rectangle, and that can be like the enemy. So um, I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. So we're going to say let enemy x equal, and right now I'll just put it right on the right hand side of the screen. So that's 600 would be all the way to the right. I'm going to subtract a little bit. We're going to go 650. I'm sorry, 550. 550 for the enemy x. And then I'm going to need a enemy y position as well. Enemy y position, and that position is going to be, let's see here. I don't know. Y position just in the middle. So it's 400 tall, 200 pixels. So it should be right over here somewhere. Okay. In my setup, for simplicity, I'm going to change to rect mode center so that the center of the rectangle that we draw is at this position. Okay. So now I'm just going to do enemy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Draw the enemy, and it's going to be just a rectangle. Again, if you hit tab or enter and that pops up, you have to do rect and then put a space and then your parentheses, and it won't try to autofill that other stuff. We're going to put it enemy x, comma, enemy y, and I'm going to make it 40 pixels tall and 40 pixels wide. I think I want to change the fill color too. So the fill color for the enemy is going to be, I don't know, blue. Blue? Let's make him black. Black, yeah, that should be good. We'll do a black enemy, and let's see if we, cool. So there's my enemy, and what I want to do is I want to be able to like shoot, and when I hit the enemy, it actually like gives me some points, or it makes the enemy like move its position or its spot, okay, and maybe gives me some points. So let's go into this, or go down to this draw projectiles, and this is the thing that it redraws the projectile, and then it moves it, and then it checks to see if it went off the screen, and it deletes it if it did. So what I want to do is, in this loop that goes through and looks at each projectile, I want to know, is its position, right? Is its position close enough to where like, oh, it just missed it. Where if I go down here, yeah, hit, but no hit, right? So you can look at some of the old projects to figure out how to do this, but I think I'm just going to create a conditional statement here. And I actually want to check for collision before I delete any of these. So I'm going to put I guess it doesn't matter. Let's put it afterwards. So check for collision with enemy. Okay, so we'll say if. If what happens? Well, if our projectile's x position, we could do it like this, is exactly equal to enemy x position, and actually I don't like doing it, and I think it's going to get too long. So we'll say like, okay, if the projectile's x position is exactly the same as the enemy's x position, then I need to check if the projectile's y position is exactly equal to the enemy's y position. Then I would, well, one, I'm going to copy those, because if I hit the enemy, I want to delete the bullet. And the second thing that I would want to do is probably just go like background red, which will make the screen flash. We did that also in like Duck Hunt. So just kind of giving some indication. Obviously, this would be a great place to go like score plus equals 10. You got 10 points because you hit him, but score's not going to work because I don't have a variable named score. I would need to declare that up here. Okay. So let's see if that works. And hopefully we'll see a flasher. Okay, good. We saw a little flash red, right? And it, boop. Ooh, okay. So something's not working because only the very first. Oh, I see. If projectile Y's sub I need to make sure that we're checking the position for both of them. So let's run that. And now I should get a hit. I should get a hit. Okay, good. And I can see as soon as I hit it, my bullet's deleting. Yeah? Okay, that's good. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is if I move up just a little bit, the bullet hits the enemy, but it's not, the X position of the bullet is not, it can exactly get to the middle of the X position for the enemy, but the Y position's not the same. So we need to make sure that their Y position's within a range. And the way that we did that before is we said something like this. If we take the difference, if we do the Y position minus, so projectile Y minus the enemy's position is less than their difference. This one's 40 by 40 for the enemy. So half of that would be 20. Okay, half of its width and height. And the projectile that we're drawing has a diameter of 20. So half of that would be 10. So now when I check and if I move up just a little bit, okay, that, ooh. So it looks like it does something wrong on the top, maybe right here. Okay, I miss on the bottom. I do hit it right there, even though it's hitting just the edge. That's good. Okay, the reason it's hitting anywhere up here is because the enemy or the projectile's position would be like 50 minus 200, which is negative 150. Well, negative 150 is less than 20 plus 10, which is 30. So I need to take the absolute value of this. So when I'm talking about the projectile Y's, I'm going to say the absolute value of their difference. Okay. And again, you can look back at some of the other like Duck Hunt that we did the same sort of algorithm where we check to see if the difference of two positions is within some threshold. 20 plus 30, I could just put, or 20 plus 10 is 30, like that. Again, right now, our enemy doesn't move, so it doesn't really matter about the X, but I would say that we should probably put that in parentheses and do the absolute value of the projectile X minus the enemy X is less than, and then we think about like how wide this is, right? Like maybe we just make that 30 as well. So I think now we have some collision working, and you can see the bullet deletes sooner. Good. So we've got a little collision working. Obviously, when this collision happens, we could also now regenerate the enemy X and Y. So we could say enemy X equals random, I don't know, the X value is 200, so maybe I go like 300 comma 600 to generate a random number between X, like the middle of the screen to the right, and enemy Y is equal to a random Wow. Random value between 0 and 400. And now when we shoot him, oh, now our guy moves around and he randomly generates, and we could see him like respawning new enemies, which gets to be a little bit more fun. We can make him get bigger or smaller or whatever. Like you can go ahead and play with that. But this conditional statement checks for our collision.